On the morning of March 1st, 2026, smoke was rising from the Burj Al Arab. Not from a kitchen fire, not from a controlled demolition, from a drone. The most photographed building in the Middle East was burning. The Dubai media office confirmed it within hours. Debris from an intercepted Iranian projectile had ignited a fire on the tower's outer facade. Civil defense teams contained it. No injuries were reported. The official language was measured, clinical, reassuring. But the image was already everywhere. A city that had spent 40 years constructing an identity around absolute safety had just watched that identity catch fire on live video. And for the insiders who had been watching Dubai's landmark economy for years, this was not the beginning of the story. It was the moment the story became impossible to ignore. Here is what almost nobody was saying out loud before that smoke rose. Several of Dubai's most iconic landmarks were already in deep trouble. Not from drones, from something slower, harder to photograph, and far more structural. Overcapitalization, audience miscalculation, the brutal mathematics of attractions that cost more to run than they can ever earn. And now, layered on top of all of that, a geopolitical crisis that has sent tourist traffic collapsing, luxury sales into freefall, and Dubai's most foundational brand promise that it is the safest city in the most volatile region on Earth into genuine question. The question is not whether Dubai can survive. Dubai has survived before. The question is which landmarks come out the other side and which ones quietly disappear. To understand what is at stake, but you need to start with a Ferris wheel. Ain Dubai opened on October 21st, 2021, on Blue Waters Island. Standing 250 meters tall, it claimed the title of world's tallest observation wheel from Las Vegas's High Roller. For 6 months, it worked. Then, in March 2022, it closed for Ramadan. The closure extended through summer, then into 2023, then became permanent. Ain Dubai remains closed until further notice. The phrase enhancement works was offered as the entire explanation. No engineers named, no structural specifics. Employees on Blue Waters Island, speaking anonymously to AFP, voiced theories. One waiter speculated the wheel was too heavy for the man-made island beneath it. Patrick Clausen, research director at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, told AFP directly that the silence suggested a complicated problem. UAE authorities, he said, are quick to provide information when they have a solution. The silence suggested they did not. The wheel sat dark for 2.5 years before reopening on December 26, 2024. The lesson was one nobody wanted to acknowledge. Dubai's appetite for record-breaking landmarks consistently outpaces its ability to sustain them. The second landmark never reopened at all. Bollywood Parks Dubai closed permanently on April 20th, 2023. It had opened in November 2016 with actor Shah Rukh Khan headlining the launch, billed as the world's first theme park dedicated to Bollywood. 6 zones, 17 rides, and a wooden roller coaster called Bombay Express that never actually opened during the park's entire 7-year lifespan. Ain Dubai Parks and Resorts had gone private in 2021 after being forced to delist from the stock market due to insufficient funding. As theme park insiders Robert Niles wrote, none of Dubai's outdoor theme parks had proven they could generate the attendance needed to reach viability. The heat made them seasonal. The prices made them discretionary. The audiences never appeared. The site reopened in April 2024 as Real Madrid World. The pivot tells you everything about how Dubai recalibrates. The question it never answers is whether the second bet was better researched than the first. Now consider the third landmark, and the one that, as of this week, is dying the slowest and most painful death of all. Global Village launched its 30th anniversary season on October 15, 2025. 30 pavilions, over 90 cultures, 3,500 shopping outlets, and 40,500 shows, scheduled to run until May 10, 2026. On February 28th, it shut as a precautionary safety measure. It has not reopened since. As of April 13th, 2026, Global Village stated it remains closed until further notice as a precautionary safety measure in line with official guidance, per the National. The outdoor attraction closes for summer heat in May, regardless of what happens politically. If it does not reopen before then, its landmark 30th anniversary season will have ended not with celebration, but with silence, and no mechanism to recover that revenue. Have you ever asked yourself what it actually costs a city when its outdoor attractions go dark during peak season? Not in visitor numbers alone, in the chain reaction downstream, the transport operators, the food vendors, the surrounding retail. The loss is not linear, or it compounds. The Dubai frame opened in January 2018 as a 150-meter tall picture frame through which old Dubai appears on one side and the modern skyline on the other. Its management posted a TripAdvisor response in April 2026 explaining its current closure with the phrase force majeure situations in the region. The frame was always a landmark built on a singular experience, and singular experience landmarks are among the most financially fragile in any tourism ecosystem because they depend entirely on the continuous arrival of first-time visitors. When those arrivals stop, there is no secondary revenue model to absorb the gap. Now we arrive at the fifth landmark, and the one whose numbers are the most counterintuitive. Dubai Mall welcomed 111 million visitors in 2024, the highest in its history, per the Dubai Media Office. Its Fashion Avenue ranks 11th among the most expensive retail locations in the world, per Cushman & Wakefield's 35th Main Streets Across the World report, with rents rising 9% year on year. A 1.5 billion dirham expansion was underway. By those metrics, it is not a landmark at risk. Then March 2026 arrived. A source with direct knowledge told Reuters that Dubai Mall experienced a 50% drop in traffic versus the same month in 2025. At the Mall of the Emirates, luxury sales fell between 30 and 50%. Reuters reported that for mega brands like Louis Vuitton and Hermes, annual sales per square meter in Dubai can surpass several €100,000, multiple times their global average. Bernstein analysts warned in April 2026 that the conflict's ripple effects could easily disrupt shopper appetite well beyond the immediate crisis. Dubai Mall will not close. But the model that makes it the 11th most expensive retail address on Earth requires the city to be what it has always told the world it is. The sixth and seventh landmarks travel together. Atlantis the Palm opened September 2008, and Atlantis the Royal opened 2023, are both offering 25% discounts on rooms and spa treatments through May 2026 per Travel Weekly. These are resorts that operated at near full occupancy through peak season as recently as 2025. The Fairmont on the same Palm Jumeirah was directly struck by a drone on February 28th, causing an explosion and fire injuring 4 people. Occupancy rates across Dubai hotels dropped from 89% on March 15th to 23% by March 19th, per Dubai Department of Economy and Tourism data. Hotels reported 70% cancellation rates for April and May. Atlantis discounting at 25% during peak season is not a marketing strategy. It is a distress signal. The 8th landmark is not a building. It is the financial district that defines what kind of city Dubai is underneath the tourism glitter. The ICD Brookfield Tower inside the Dubai International Finance Center, home to BlackRock, JP Morgan, and Bank of America, stood largely empty for days after the initial strikes, as Goldman Sachs, Citi, and Standard Chartered ordered staff to work from home. Dubai's financial market real estate index fell more than 17%, and property transactions in the first full week fell by half per Dubai Land Department figures. Goldman Sachs reported transaction values down 42% year-on-year by the second week of March, with the secondary market down 59%. S&P Global Ratings described the situation as a significant stress test, noting the window of resilience is not unlimited. When Goldman Sachs tells its staff to work from home in Dubai, something has shifted in the confidence calculus of every institution that chose this city over Singapore, London, or Zurich. This is where the argument reaches its most consequential point. Cinzia Bianco, a Persian Gulf expert at the European Council on Foreign Relations, stated it on the night of February 28th, with precision that no financial model has matched. This is Dubai's ultimate nightmare, as its very essence depended on being a safe oasis in a troubled region. Dubai did not just sell luxury, it sold the combination of luxury and safety in one of the least safe neighborhoods on the planet. That was always a high-wire act. The wire is still there, but it is vibrating in a way it has never vibrated before. Which brings us to the 9th landmark, the Verge Al Arab, opened in 1999, designed by British architect Tom Wright, on an artificial island off Jumeirah Beach. Suites starting at approximately $1,000 per night. No standard rooms. The building against which Dubai's entire luxury identity has been measured for more than 2 decades. When drone debris set a fire on its facade, Bellingcat's open-source analysis found the fire extended to approximately 30 meters in height, uncovering around 8 floors, significantly more than the limited fire described in official communications. The Dubai Media Office had warned that sharing footage contradicting official announcements could result in imprisonment of at least 2 years and fines of no less than 200,000 dirhams. That warning tells its own story about the gap between the image being managed and what residents were witnessing. Will Bailey, a fitness influencer with a significant Dubai-based business, told the BBC he was reconsidering plans to open a new division in the city. He is one person, but he represents a category. The high-income international entrepreneur who chose Dubai in deliberate defiance of its regional geography, trusting the safety narrative above everything else. Their decisions, made quietly and individually, and are the actual measure of whether Dubai's brand has been damaged at the surface or at the root. The Verge Al Arab will not close. Neither will Dubai Mall nor the DIFC. But Ain Dubai was a warning about structural ambition outrunning structural sense. Bollywood Parks was a warning about audience assumptions never honestly tested. Global Village's 30th anniversary season bleeding out in indefinite closure is a warning about how quickly even the most enduring attractions become collateral damage when the city's fundamental promise is suspended. And the Burj Al Arab, Atlantis, and the DIFC are warnings about something harder to repair. What happens when the word safe no longer attaches automatically to the word Dubai? The structural buffers are real. Amar Properties entered the conflict with $11.7 billion in escrow and $7.5 billion in available cash. Fitch estimated residential prices up roughly 60% from 2022 to early 2025. The Dubai 2040 plan still targets 5.8 million residents. Recovery is not in question. What is in question is the shape of what emerges, whether the landmarks that were already structurally fragile before February 28th find the same audience waiting for them on the other side. That is not a question any analyst can answer. It depends on decisions in Tehran and Washington, the patience of institutional investors, the psychology of the next generation of high-income migrants choosing between Dubai and somewhere quieter. Dubai builds faster and more ambitiously than any city on earth. That speed has always been both its greatest asset and its most unexamined liability. If you live in Dubai, work inside one of its landmarks, or chose this city as your home and have watched its identity shift in real time over the past 6 weeks, tell us, from where you are standing right now, does the skyline still look the same?